Welcome to Audiobook 365 Stories.
Once upon a time, there was a king and a queen who lived happily together. They had 12 children, all boys. One day, the king told his wife, "If our 13th child is a girl, all her 12 brothers must die. This way, she can have all the riches and the kingdom for herself." He then had 12 small beds prepared, like boxes, and put soft things inside. He hid these beds in a room and gave the key to his wife, telling her not to tell anyone about it. The queen was very sad about this and couldn't find any comfort. She was so sad that her youngest son, Benjamin, who was always with her, said one day, "Mother, why are you sad?" Benjamin asked. "I can't tell you, my child," she replied. But Benjamin kept asking until she finally showed him the room with the 12 small beds filled with soft things. Then she said, "My dear Benjamin, your father ordered these beds for you and your 11 brothers. If I have a girl, you all have to be killed and put in these beds." She cried a lot as she said this, but Benjamin comforted her and said, "Don't cry, Mom," Benjamin said. "We'll find a way to escape. We'll run away to save our lives." "Yes," his mother agreed. "That's what you must do. Go with your 11 brothers into the forest. One of you should always stay on the tallest tree and keep an eye on the castle tower. If I have a baby boy, I'll wave a white flag, and then you can come back safely. But if I have a baby girl, I'll wave a red flag. That's your signal to run away as fast as you can. May kind heaven take care of you. Every night, I'll pray for you. In winter, I'll pray that you always have a fire to keep warm, and in summer, I'll pray that you don't suffer from the heat." Then their mother blessed them, and they went into the forest. They found a tall oak tree and took turns sitting in it, keeping watch on the castle tower. On the 12th day, when it was Benjamin's turn, he saw a flag waving in the air. But unfortunately, it wasn't white. It was blood red, which meant they were all in danger. When the brothers heard this, they were very angry and said, "Should we really die because of a girl? Let's swear to take revenge. We vow that whenever we meet a girl, she will die by our hands." So, they went deeper into the forest. In the darkest part of the woods, they found a small enchanted house that was empty. "Let's stay here," they said. "Benjamin, since you're the youngest and weakest, you'll stay home and take care of the house. The rest of us will go out and hunt for food." So they went into the forest and hunted hares, deer, birds, and any other animals they found. They always brought back what they caught to Benjamin, who learned how to cook delicious meals with them. They lived like this for 10 years in the little house, and time passed happily. Meanwhile, their little sister at home was growing up fast. She was kind-hearted and had a pretty face, with a gold star in the middle of her forehead. One day, as she looked out from her window, she saw 12 men's shirts hanging to dry in the palace courtyard. She asked her mother, "Whose shirts are those?" the girl asked. "They look too small for my father." Sadly, the queen replied, "They belong to your 12 brothers." But where are my 12 brothers? The girl asked. I've never heard of them. Only heaven knows where they are wandering in the wide world, her mother replied. Then the queen took the girl and opened the locked room. She showed her the 12 small beds filled with soft things. These beds, she said, were meant for your brothers. But they ran away secretly before you were born. Then she told her daughter everything that had happened. When she finished, her daughter said, "Don't cry, dear mother. I'll go and find my brothers." So she took the 12 shirts and went straight into the middle of the big forest. She walked all day and arrived in the evening at the little enchanted house. Inside, she found a young man who was amazed by her beauty, her royal clothes, and the golden star on her forehead. He asked her where she came from and where she was going. "I am a princess," she replied. "I'm looking for my 12 brothers. I will wander as far as the sky stretches over the earth until I find them." Then she showed him the 12 shirts she had brought with her, and Benjamin realized she was his sister. He said, "I am Benjamin, your youngest brother." They cried tears of joy, hugged, and kissed each other many times. After a while, Benjamin said, "Dear sister, there's a problem." Benjamin said, "We agreed that any girl we met should die because it was because of a girl that we had to leave our kingdom. But," she said, "I'm willing to die if it means I can bring back my 12 brothers." "No," Benjamin said, "there's no need for that. Just go and hide under that tub until our 11 brothers come in, and I'll sort things out with them." She did as he said, and soon the others returned from hunting and sat down for supper. "So, Benjamin, any news?" they asked. Benjamin replied, "Funny you should ask. Don't you have something to tell me?" "No," they said. "Listen," Benjamin said, "you've been out in the woods all day, and I've been quietly at home, yet I know more than you do." "Tell us then," they demanded. "Only if you promise that the first girl we meet won't be killed," Benjamin replied. "We promise she won't be harmed. Just tell us the news." They agreed. "Okay," said Benjamin. "Our sister is here." He lifted the tub, and the princess stepped out, wearing her royal clothes and the golden star on her forehead. She looked so beautiful and sweet that they all instantly fell in love with her. They decided that she would stay home with Benjamin and help him with the chores, while the other brothers went hunting. Benjamin and his sister cooked meals for them. She gathered herbs for cooking, fetched wood, and watched the pots on the fire. Whenever her 11 brothers returned, she had their supper ready. She also kept the house clean and tidy and helped in any way she could. Her brothers were delighted with her, and they all lived happily together. One day, the 2 siblings at home prepared a wonderful feast. When they were all gathered together, they sat down to eat, drink, and have fun. There was a small garden around the enchanted house with 12 tall lilies. The girl wanted to please her brothers, so she picked the 12 flowers, planning to give one to each of them during supper. But as soon as she picked the flowers, her brothers turned into 12 ravens. They flew away, croaking over the forest, and the house and garden disappeared. Now the poor girl found herself all alone in the forest. As she looked around, she saw an old woman standing nearby. The old woman said, "Oh, my child, what have you done?" The old woman said, "Why didn't you leave the flowers alone? They were your 12 brothers. Now they are forever changed into ravens." The girl asked, crying, "Is there no way to set them free?" "No," the old woman replied. "There is only one way, but it's very difficult. You would have to be silent and not laugh for 7 years. If you spoke even one word, your silence would be wasted, and that one word would kill your brothers." The girl thought to herself, "If that's all, I'm sure I can free my brothers." So she looked for a tall tree, climbed it, and spun yarn all day long without laughing or speaking. One day, a king who was hunting in the forest had a large greyhound. The dog ran to the tree where the girl was sitting, barking loudly. The king looked up and saw the beautiful princess with the golden star on her forehead. He was so captivated by her beauty that he asked her to marry him right then and there. She didn't say anything, but nodded her head slightly. The king climbed up the tree, brought her down, placed her on his horse, and took her to his palace to be his wife. The wedding was grand, but the bride didn't speak or laugh. They lived happily together for a few years. However, the king's mother, who was a wicked old woman, started spreading lies about the young queen. She said to the king, "She's just a beggar you married. Who knows what trouble she's causing? Even if she can't speak, she should at least laugh." People who don't laugh usually have something to hide. At first, the king ignored her, but the old woman kept nagging him. She accused the queen of many bad things until the king finally gave in. He sentenced his beautiful wife to death. A big fire was lit in the palace courtyard, where she was to be burned. The king watched from a window above, crying bitterly because he still loved her. Just as she was about to be burnt, exactly 7 years since she stopped speaking and laughing, a sudden rushing sound was heard. 12 ravens flew overhead and turned into her brothers when they landed. She knew she had freed them. Her brothers put out the fire, untied her from the stake, and hugged and kissed her. Now that she could speak, she explained to the king why she had been silent. The king was overjoyed to learn she was innocent, and they all lived happily ever after.